This video I'm making now is a follow-up of my previous video I posted 5 days ago, sharing my frustrations about how KLM has cancelled my flight ticket. Not only me, a lot of leaving a lot of stranded passengers, not knowing what to do, and there was almost no means of communication to customer service. Just little brief to those of you who don't know, you can go back to my page and watch the previous video. That was on the 5th January 2026. So this video here, I'll put it here so you can see. So this is a follow-up video, and I'm not feeling very well right now, but since things are still a little fresh in my mind, I still want to make this video. Okay, so fast forward, my flight was cancelled, and the day after I made that previous video, this particular one, fortunately the next day when I woke up in the morning, KLM has rescheduled or has rebooked my flight through Charles de Gaulle Airport. Okay, so normally I take KLM, so it goes to Amsterdam and to Ghana, and I was flying from Denmark. Okay, so the next day, which was the 6th of January, my husband dropped me off at the airport, Copenhagen. Normally my husband and I, we travel together, but due to some few circumstances, this time we bought a separate ticket. Okay, and if he is still in Denmark waiting to hear something from KLM, hopefully soon. So yeah, he dropped me off at the airport, and I was traveling alone. I checked in my luggage at Copenhagen Airport, and then the flights from Copenhagen Airport, that was SAS, Scandinavian Airline in full, delayed 1 hour in Denmark because the plane was frosted on the outside, so they need to defrost it, put some water or some chemicals on it before we can fly. So it delayed 1 hour. So unfortunately for me, when we arrived Charles de Gaulle Airport in France, I was supposed to take Ethiopia Airlines to Africa. Okay, so due to the delay in Denmark, when I got to the gate, the Ethiopia Airlines said they have closed, so I couldn't check in. And I was pleading them that it's not my fault. The airline that I was coming with delayed 1 hour, and they were just standing and just saying, "I'm sorry, madam, we've closed. Check-in is closed." And honestly, I think actually if they wanted to check me in, I think they could have checked me in, because when I got to the counter, the shuttle bus that were taking all the passengers to where the airplane is was just right about to leave from that gate. So they could have just let me scan my boarding pass. It takes few seconds and then I can just jump in. But I guess they were following rules and regulations. So yeah, I missed that flight, and I have to find out what to do to get a new flight to come to Ghana. Okay, so I asked around and was so frustrated. I called one of my friends, Loveland. She was so good to help me because she has flown through Charles de Gaulle Airport a few times, and she knows how things are there. So we spent almost all the nights, midnights, talking and going from gate to gate and blah blah blah. So fast forward, I finally went to Air France KLM customer service booth physically, and when I got there, there was a long queue. So I have to join the queue. I was like number 50 to 60, who knows. And more passengers were coming in, those whose flight had been delayed and those who have missed their flight. So yeah, they rebooked me through Kenya Airways this time because I have missed the one that I was supposed to come. But then the flight with Kenya Airways is the next day, and normally when they rebook you, they give you accommodation. So unfortunately for me, they said they have rebooked me and it's not their responsibility to give me an accommodation, but I should rather contact the SAS, that airline I flew from Denmark, so I should go back to that airline and ask for accommodation. And Charles de Gaulle Airport is crazy huge, and I was already tired going from one gate to the other, taking shuttle bus to the other, finding your terminal gate. So to think about all this, I was like, you know what, I can't be going back and forth. So I'd rather book my own hotel room, and then I'll ask the airline to compensate me later, find a way to do it. Okay. So I searched for hotels around the Charles de Gaulle Airport. A lot of almost all the hotels I went in were fully booked because there were so many passengers that were stranded. They needed accommodation. So I finally got one um, hotel, Ibis or Ibis, some will pronounce it, and it's I check in, pay with my Visa card, and I got a confirmation, and I went there only to find out that they said they cannot check me in because it's midnight. They don't do midnight to midnight check-in. And I was like, yeah, it's midnight because my flight, I missed my flight. That's why. And they have rebooked me, but not until the next day. And I'm really tired. I need to sleep. So I need this room. And they said, yeah, she knows, but she's very sorry. She can't do anything about it. Normally, hotel check-in is from 12 afternoon to the next day 12. And this one is midnight to midnight. And that was a fair reasons feedback for me. And she said there's a lot of other passengers sitting on my left side. She showed me that they too are there to lodge, but unfortunately they cannot be checking because it's midnight. Okay, so then I decided to sit at that hotel lobby till the from 2 to 3 a.m. midnight to the next day 1 in the afternoon. I didn't sleep at all. I was just frustrated, nervous that I might even miss this flight again or they might even cancel again. So I was very worried. And then the next day at 1, I took the train to my gate. Finally, I saw my gate. That was the Kenya Airways going to Africa. So fast forward, I boarded my flight to Kenya Airways, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I was happy that I'm inside Kenya Airways because now I know that I'm heading to Ghana, so there's no cancellation or delay. So my mind was at peace. So finally, the Kenya Airways flew from Charles de Gaulle Airport from France, and it made 2 hour stop at Amsterdam. So then when we got to Amsterdam, some of the passengers out from the plane, and then some also boarded in. And after some few hours, they started to serve the meal. There was fish and chicken. I took fish, which was very nice actually. And there was an elderly woman, a white lady from South Africa. She was sitting on my right, so we were chit-chatting and laughing about small things, and I was also helping her with some small electronics and helping her with the table. Sometimes some of these elderly people, they are not very used to electronics and some of the small things in the airline. So we were just having our own small cozy small talks. Okay, and we just finished our meal, and I was reading my book, and the woman was sleeping later on. A lot of people were already sleeping, and they have dimmed the light in the plane. So I was a bit tired after reading my book, and I decided to, okay, now finally, I know I'm heading back home, so let me rest. So sitting down, I reclined my chair, and then I slept. I think I was in deep sleep like 15 to 20 minutes because I was so tired and I haven't slept for like 2.5 days. I was so exhausted. So I decided to take a nap or something. So whilst I was sleeping, like deeply in my sleep, I was awakened by a very severe and intense chest pain. So I woke up right away and I couldn't breathe. I was panicking. I was feeling dizzy. I felt like I was dying. So I told to myself, no, let me give it a few seconds. I'm sure it will pass. You know, sometimes when you have some of this small episode whereby you're feeling dizzy and out of the blue, it just go away. So I was having it like that. Just at that moment, I said to myself, I'm giving myself a few seconds. I'm sure it's going to pass. My palpitation skyrocketed from 0 to 99, not to 100%. And then everything started to turn black. I couldn't see anything on and off. So I took the small remote on my chair and pressed the cabin crew. That meant I needed assistance. And I realized that, okay, no, my palpitation was going up. My heart was beating faster and faster, and I was starting to have shortness of breath. I could not breathe, and I started panicking, and it felt like someone was vehemently pulling my heart from my chest. So I wanted to stand up myself and go and call the crew member, because I felt like it was taking too long after I pressed the button. And this episode that I was having, even 1 second felt like 10 minutes. So when I turned my back, my neck to look down the aisle, the plane is very long. I realized, no, there's no way I can even walk 2 steps. If I try, I'll fall down. So I quickly woke up the elderly woman from South Africa I was just telling about. She was in deep sleep, so I tapped her shoulder 2 times and she woke up. And I was telling her, I was like, please call, I need assistance. This is exactly how I was doing. I need help. I can't breathe. Please, I'm dying. I can't breathe. Can you go get assistance for me, please? I need your help. And then when she looked at my face, she was like, oh God, no. She was terrified. So she ran all the way to the back, and promptly within few seconds she came back with one of the crew member, a guy. And this crew guy did amazing. He was very good. So he started to ask me question. He asked if I have any high blood pressure. I said no. Do you have diabetes? Do you have any underlying condition that he should know? I said no. And he said, prior to my travel, how was my condition? Was I okay? Have I taken any sugar drink or something? I said I was perfectly fine, except I haven't really sleep for the past 2.5 days now. I have been stressed out due to all the flight cancellation and all proper sleep. So whilst I was talking to him, I started to feel my heart was beating so fast that I started to sweat. I was feeling so hot that it's like I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to lose my clothes, anything. And then he asked me, do I have any tights, corset or brazier that is restricting me from breathing? I said, no, I don't have any brazier on, and I don't have any corset. So right when I was talking with him, I was feeling so hot that I unbuckled my seatbelt, stood up, and took off my winter boots, because I started to feel this heat starting from my foot and coming upwards, my chest. So I stood up right in front of him. I just off my underwear and I was about to off my dress, going naked, not even thinking about the next lanes of the passengers sitting on my left. I felt like I was literally about to die. The crew member, the guy was like, madam, please calm down. Whom are you traveling with? I said, I'm traveling alone. And for the crew member, looking at my face, I could see he was even more anxious for me, and he started to get a little bit afraid. I could see on his face, even if he was still trying to help me. So he asked, who is the closest relative in case of emergency, because he could see I was about to pass out. And then I said my husband, and I told him when my phone is locked, you can press the volume key, and on the lock key on the right side, his name will pop up. He tried, and his name showed up. So now we are okay with that. So he quickly told me, calm down, I'm coming. So he rushed to the back and bring a bottle of water and a cup with some ice cube, because I was feeling so hot that I wanted to go naked. Gosh, it was not funny. And he came back with the water. He poured some in a cup for me and put some ice cube in it and asked me to drink. So I took one cup, and then the second, and then the next, and then the fourth one. And after like 5 minutes, I started to feel the beating of my heart was going a bit down. Yeah. And then I'm trying not to make the video too long, but I also want to share every detail that I encountered, because this ordeal that I had been through I've never been in such thing before, and I was very afraid. Yeah, so after taking the water, I began to calm down myself. My nerves, everything was calming down. And after a moment, I started to have this intense shivering. I was shivering like crazy, that my seat was shivering like crazy. So he had to turn off reduce the temperature in the flight to alleviate my body temperature. So to counteract my shivering, the crew member gave me warm tea, few cups continuously, and then gradually it kind of stabilizes my body temperature, which helps quite a lot later on. This elderly woman on my right side from South Africa, she did amazing. I will never forget her help. She was holding my hand and rubbing my back to make sure that, to feel that there's somebody there for me. She did so good. And even later on, when I was okay, and the flight attendant, the guy also sat together with me for like 30 minutes. The whole episode took like 30 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours, literally. So later on, when I was fine, I told the woman that, thank you so much. God bless you. I really appreciate your help. But now I think I'm okay, so you can go back to sleep. And she was like, no, she will never go back to sleep. So she insisted the cabin crew leave my light on, because in the plane is 3 seat here on the window seat. So each seat have their own light, and she suggested the crew guy should leave my light on, and the crew guy also showed her the remote in case the same episode repeat itself. She should click on the crew attendant and they will come to me right away. And fortunately it didn't come again. And so I share contact with this elderly woman that she said she haven't been to Ghana before. And I told her, with that generosity and the caring she have showed towards me right now, if she ever happens to be in Ghana, whether it's her children, her friends, her close relative, they happen to be in Ghana and they find themselves in an unusual situation, whatever, they should never hesitate to call me, because I'll be ready to give the same arms to help her. In order not to forget, I wrote everything down in a long message. Yeah, because at that moment everything was fresh. I remember step by step how I was going through and how things were. So I wrote it down, that this particular day and date I will never forget. And then when we arrived at Kenya airport, I sent the message to my husband and one to one of my friends who was helping me at France, and to my other friends. Yeah, so apparently when we read about it on the internet and stuff, it says like it's panic attack I was having in the plane. Yeah, so finally we arrived at Kenya airport, and I had to wait like maybe 3 4 hours before we came back to Ghana. And for my advice, I mean, that's why it's always good to travel in pairs. You never know what will happen to you along the way when you are flying. It's not only even flying sick. If you are just even driving a long drive, long journey drive, it's always good you have somebody there if you are in pair. Funny thing is, when sometimes you hear somebody has missed their flight, or their flight has been cancelled. So often we are like, yeah, you'll find another plane, or you get another flight a different day, don't worry. Because it's not you, you don't really feel it. But if it happens to you, like I've been through, it's not funny at all. I have spent 3 days to come to Ghana by plane, which normally take a flight that, if it's KLM from Denmark to Ghana, it's, let's say, 10-11 hours, including waiting times. I spent 3 days just at airport, hanging around, finding my gates, cancellation, delayed, mixing flight, just to come to Ghana. 3 days. Unfortunately, when we arrived at Kotoka airport, I went to the carousel to get my luggage, and of course, my luggage is still not in, and it's 2 days now. and yeah, hopefully I get it and it's not lost forever. So it is what it is. And the funny thing is, when I arrived home, I was actually afraid to go to bed because I was afraid it might happen again. But then I also had my younger sister here, so I narrated my episode to her, and she was sleeping in the other room, and I in my room. So yeah, but Monday I'm gonna see a doctor, and then yeah. But I'm getting okay. I just woke up with a flu, so I'm fine. And thank you for watching. And have you ever experienced anything like that or similar, or do you know anybody who have been through? I would like if you can share your story too in the comment section. Thank you.